VGK set to meet Vancouver tonight on the road off of that overtime loss in Edmonton. Why Logan Thompson should take shots on the shootout and the third line. That's all ahead next right here. I knew I was going to get you on Locked On Golden Knights.
I like it.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Tony Cardasco along with Chris Golick. We come to you from Las Vegas 5 days a week. Make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We just changed that over from Locked On VGK to officially Locked On Golden Knights, and that is the YouTube channel. And follow us on Twitter at Locked On VGK, at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris G. Okay, so just hear me out for a minute, Chris. So if Logan Thompson can coach Mark Stone to score on the penalty shot, why wouldn't they utilize him and put him in the shootout rotation himself? I mean, it was really a good scouting job there. I was watching Canadian TV the other night in the Edmonton game, and so Stone goes out there, penalty shot. He goes 5-hole on Stuart Skinner. The reason why he went 5-hole was because Logan Thompson had coached him up in the AHL. We saw Thompson go against Skinner when he played for, I think it was the Bakersfield Condors, if I'm not mistaken. So why not put him in the rotation? And can you use a goalie stick on the shootout?
There was a video that surfaced, I believe it was during season 1, Marc-Andre Fleury. I think it was during the playoff run when they were pretty deep, if I'm not mistaken, where he was actually out there with a player stick and out there that. Just shooting around, having a good old time and the time of his life. So I caught that when it happened. We were actually sitting up in Mackenzie River during the UNLV game on Saturday night. Shout out to UNLV. Tough weekend though, 2 tough losses to Liberty, but a ton of fun. City National was absolutely packed on Saturday night, folks, with hockey between Mackenzie River and the UNLV game. Just awesome to see how hockey has blossomed in this town. But we were sitting up in Mackenzie River, and I caught Stone going to the bench right when it happened. And 2 things crossed my mind. 1, he's maybe hurts. We don't want that, obviously. And 2, I saw him with Logan Thompson. So right away, I kind of picked up on what was happening. And, it was interesting. It was fun to see. And more importantly, we scored the goal, obviously. But more importantly, right after the goal, he's pointing to the bench. He's pointing to LT. And I love stuff like that. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was really cool. He just told him he knew his weaknesses. And it's kind of cool, though, that goaltenders can scout other goalies, too, right? Because they watch them so frequently. And he saw that in the AHL.
I hope I see LT on Wednesday. Sorry. I hope I see LT on Wednesday. I want to ask him to say, listen, where'd that come from? Was there anything behind that, or did you just pull the first thing out of your head? And I will ask him about that. I'm hopefully going to the game on Credentials Wednesday, so I'm going to find LT and ask him.
That would be great. Awesome. And VGK had its 6-game road winning streak snapped. Mark Stone, let's talk about him. And he did score that penalty shot goal, but also scored another goal in the game. And so if it appears as though he's starting to get into a rhythm or a flow. I think he's got 6 goals now, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, but he is starting to get into a flow.
No doubt. And if Mark Stone is obviously scoring goals, that just makes that line 1, which is already lethal beyond belief, even stronger. Mark Stone, 7 goals, 8 assists, 15. He's got 50. We got so many players that are right around a point per game clip right now. It's pretty remarkable to see what's happening. And line 1, we found a way to take line 1, which was statistically one of the best lines last year per McCrimmon and McPhee, and now it's even stronger with Stone, Stevenson, and a healthy version of Jack Eichel. But interesting game on Saturday. I'm surprised we made it 6 minutes without mentioning Connor McDavid. Just a friggin' machine. You cannot stop him. It's Michael Jordan in a sense where he's going to do his thing, and you hope the rest of the team falters a little bit. In this situation, the Achilles heel of Connor McDavid is not Connor McDavid by any means. It's the goaltending, unfortunately. But it's just, you can't say enough good things about what Connor McDavid does on the ice. And unfortunately, you give him some space in overtime. I don't care who you can have a brick wall in the net with one brick missing in the toughest spot to find, and McDavid will close his eyes and rip it through it. That's how good he is.
Yeah, and he just skated past. I think it was Chandler Stevenson and Pietrangelo there. He didn't like they didn't like what they saw. They backed it out. They went back to neutral ice. They reset, and then it was all McDavid just blowing by everyone and then scoring the goal. And you knew that he was just going to take over that game. There in
He's going to take
OT.
over every game. I mean, there's not too many off nights that dude has.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it was amazing and impressive as always.
And we get to see him 4 times a year. That's awesome. It's it's good and bad.
Hey, your favorite player on VGK, Keegan Colasar.
Yes.
That was a nice shot that he had on goal. It wasn't a shot.
That was as Colasar of a goal as there was ever going to be. Folks, kids, go to the net, duck, good things happen.
When you sent out that tweet with the puck and the beer in the beer glass, that was elite.
I forgot I had that. I was having dinner last night, and I literally I think I made my wife mad. I'm like, I know we have a no phone rule at dinner, but I'm sending this right now. And I slept on the couch last night, but it's okay. I avoided the puck to the head though, so that's better.
Yeah. So is Edmonton back? Do you think? I mean, they were talking. Well, Jay Woodcraft, he wanted a sense of urgency. He told his team that they wanted to be the cannonball off the deck, whatever that means, but he wanted them to just explode, and play well offensively. And I thought they did. It was a good game, back and forth. And VGK fortunate to get 1 point.
I mean,
there's anything wrong with that? Do you?
Yes and no. So first of all, to Woodcroft, I'll start by saying that offensively is never going to be the problem with the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, every offense slows down a little bit, but winning games 4-3 and 5-4 routinely is a tough recipe for success. In the regular season, it works a lot. Once the playoffs come, it's not going to work a lot. And once you meet a team that is solid defensively, they're going to be a much tougher out. And Edmonton will be a tough out as well. But given Edmonton's current landscape, I'll take our chances against them in a 7-game series because, sure, 2 of the games they're going to score 6 goals. They may even win the first 2 games of the series, but you're not going to be out of it. And that was one of my keys to the game on Saturday. Me and you were actually at opposite ends on Saturday. You wanted VGK to get the first goal and come out hot and heavy, which nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It's never wrong to have that mindset. My perspective was if Edmonton gets a lead, there's no panic needed because they're going to give you chances. And that's exactly what ended up happening. So, fun game all around. Cassidy seemed to be in a good mood afterwards. He kind of took the route of, listen, we got 1 point, tough game, whatever to that. But, in watching the game and reading what some of the other opinions were, I think I'm with a lot of the other opinions, if you will, in the sense that 2 points should have been had this game. There were a lot of opportunities to get there in the first and the second period, oddly enough. And unfortunately, the wheels came off early in the third to slow things down there. And once you go to overtime, I mean, there's no one that's ever going to be a favorite against the Edmonton Oilers in overtime. I don't care what the situation is. But, leading up to that, there were chances to put this game away. Aiden Hill had a decent game. It wasn't his best, but it wasn't his worst either. There was a lot of conversation about Leon Draisaitl's goal from the right circle, where Aiden Hill sold out a little bit early. We'll certainly start by saying that. But he couldn't recover because Alec Martinez decided to play goalie on that one. I couldn't tell if Alec Martinez was down before, the puck was already in, if it mattered or not, but just the optics of that whole goal were a little bit rough. Alec Martinez could have had a little better effort cutting the angle down instead of trying to play goalie. That's my only criticism for him on that one.
Yeah, I know that was pretty funny. Of course, hockey Twitter erupted on Martinez too, and Shea Theodore a couple of assists. He had 2 assists in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The defense is finding ways to contribute at what feels like a higher clip. I mean, Pietrangelo is also a point per game clip. Theodore, I believe, is just under. I actually got it right here. If you give me a second. Shea Theodore is 14 and what are we, 19 games right now?
Yeah,
We're 18 or 19 games in
19
right now.
Games,
so
19.
I mean, we have 2 defensemen on pace for 60 or more points right now. On top of obviously Jack Eichel, who's on a close to 100 point pace right now, I believe. I mean, it's remarkable to see. He's 22. Yeah, he's on like a 93, 94, 95 point clip right now.
Connor McDavid about 150 point clip
right now. By Valentine's Day.
Jeez, just amazing.
Why are you laughing?
No, it's just amazing the way he just takes over games. It's just
It's absolutely
incredible.
remarkable. I
It's a pleasure
maybe
to watch, and you got to see him live, folks. You have to see him live
you have to go
because he's
down
the
and watch
fastest skater.
for warm-ups. You have
Mm.
to go down so really fast with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. They do a little competition during every single warm-up. When the Oilers come to town, whenever that's going to be, I'll go in the tunnel on the Edmonton side and I'll do a McDavid ISO cam because that'll be just a dream come true to be able to do that. But they do something where they both are on the, if you're standing behind the goal watching them right in front of you, the left face-off circle, where they start on their left side and they're doing some stick handling drill where they're spinning the puck all the way around. And it's like they're doing a race. It's like they're doing a race. The first one to get all the way around, they kind of look back, they wink at each other. And speaking of warm-ups, folks, if you didn't see on our Twitter, I put this out there yesterday, the Pittsburgh Penguins with the ultimate troll job of Evgeny Malkin last night. Evgeny Malkin has a very strange warm-up routine. So strange that Upper Deck actually took one of his cards. He does this weird thing where he lays down, and I don't know how else to say it. He lays on his back. He is spread eagle doing some weird stretch, and that is one of his Upper Deck cards. So I think it was his 1,000th game last night in Chicago, which also they celebrated Marian Hossa and everything, all his contributions to the Chicago Blackhawks. Big shout out to Marian Hossa and Mark Stone. A lot of parallels there. We could talk about that another day. But the entire Pittsburgh Penguins team was waiting for Malkin to start his stretching routine, and every single player on the ice, I think the goalie even was doing it. It's like everything he did, and Malkin had no idea it was coming, and you see his face, and it was just so funny to watch. It's on our Twitter, folks. Go check out Locked On Vegas Golden Knights and find that gem. It is a gem.
Coming up next, VGK's third line. We want to talk about that, and that'll come your way next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. If you've thought about securing your home with home security, but have been putting it off, you'll want to listen up right now. VGK, Locked On VGK listeners, I should say, can order the #1 rated Simply Safe home security system for 50% off. This is their biggest offer of the year, and you don't want to miss it. What I like most is Simply Safe's advanced technology, whether it is controlling your system from your phone with your app, watching the crystal clear HD live stream of your security cameras, the wide variety of high-tech sensors, all of that. And Simply Safe has been named the best home security system of 2022 by U.S. News and World Report for a third year in a row. In an emergency, 24/7 professional monitoring agents use Fast Protect technology. It is exclusively from Simply Safe to capture your critical evidence and to verify that the threat is real. And this is the way that you can get priority police response. 24/7 professional monitoring service costs less than $1 per day. Sorry, less than $1 per day, and that is half the price of ADT's traditional professionally installed system. Don't miss out on your chance to save big on the only security system that we recommend right here on Locked On VGK. Get 50% off the new Simply Safe system at simplysafe.com/LockedOnNHL. That is simplysafe.com/LockedOnNHL. There is no safe like Simply Safe. Welcome back from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick, and it's a big Thanksgiving week coming up ahead. Chris, you're going to stuff yourself with a lot of stuffing and turkey, I'm sure. You and the fam.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll see. We got a sick family, Tony. It's actually unfortunate right now. My daughter, she tested hot for a fever last night. My son this morning, and just wondering if it's going to be making its way around these parts right now. I'm going to be locked on in this office.
Locked in the office. Yeah, hopefully they feel better soon.
Oh, no doubt they will.
VGK's third line on Saturday consisted of Amadio centering Phil Kessel and Paul Cotter. Brett Howden moved down to the fourth line to play center. And now, do you think, I see a lot on hockey Twitter and VGK Twitter about perhaps making some moves to bolster that third line? What becomes of, again, I'm not picking on it at all, but what does become of Phil Kessel and his role with this team?
You hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
Colasar just took a shot, went through the glass. Sorry. Anyway, sorry.
You need to have when you go to the game the next time, you need to have a puck stuck in your back.
Should I do it when I'm on media row too? Would that be fun?
That would be awesome.
Folks, I love Keegan Kolesar. This is just fun. Please don't get mad at me. This is just fun. I know I almost got in a fight the first game of the season when I mentioned Kolesar. So if my one watcher is out there, please don't get me. So let's talk about the third line, and then we'll talk about what might happen. And there's a lot of options here, but first of all, just talking about the stats, you have 4 prominent players from the third line right now. Amadio, 1 goal. Paul Cotter, 2 goals. Brett Howden, 1 goal. And of course, Kessel does have 3 goals. 7 points on the season right now. Let's compare that to line 4 right now. Will Carrier, 4 goals. Nick Waugh, 4 goals. Keegan Kolesar, 2 goals off the hockey stick, 1 goal off the back. So that we'll count that as 3 goals. So you have 11 goals amongst 3 players on line 4 right now. The energy, identity line, whatever term, the hitting line, whatever you want to use. But that line is getting it absolutely done, especially considering its role. Line 3 is not getting it done right now. And there is some level of, I think, concern brewing. And unfortunately, Nick Waugh went down and was not available for for Saturday's game, which that's also a big deal. Nick Waugh is not just a line 4 grinder. He is on the PK. He is on the power play. So his role when he's out of the lineup, it's not just about replacing a line 4 center. It's far from that. So everything kind of gets thrown apart. And oh yeah, you're going against that Connor McDavid dude, which doesn't help anything. So what can be done? Honestly, I'm of the mindset maybe of simply swapping Nick Waugh and Brett Howden once Nick Waugh is healthy. Carrier and Kolesar are going to get the job done on line 4 as far as thumping, doing whatever it is to get that line in order. And then you can have Howden drop down there, play a little more of a grinder type role. Nick Waugh now between Paul Cotter, who has a nice finishing ability, and Phil Kessel, who has the ability to score and make some good passes. Now you had a little more skill while still keeping the grit on line 4. The other option, Brett Howden, healthy scratch him and give Amadio a shot between line 4. He played line 3 center on Saturday. I felt line 3 had some chances. When I was watching mainly in the second period, I did see a lot of shots from Kessel, and just line 3 seemed to have some offensive flow, but that's also against a poor defensive team in the Edmonton Oilers. So Bruce Cassidy is not afraid to change things up. We certainly know that. It could be a winning streak. It could be a couple, game losing streak. Unfortunately, we don't want that to happen, but he's not afraid to change things up. So once Nick Waugh is back, I'm expecting some change amongst the bottom 6. Now, Tony, to your point, Gary Lawless, listening to him on the post game on Saturday as I was driving home from City National, he's talking about, Kelly McCrimmon possibly acquiring a winger or something like that. I mean, I don't know where you're going to find that winger. There's like about 14 cents left against the salary cap right now. So, you look at Henderson and what's happening down there. There's not a lot of options as far as output goes. You got Ron Bjerg that maybe, but he's been up at this level, hasn't done a whole lot. We've talked about Brisson, who's doing next to nothing right now in the AHL, unfortunately. He chirped me a little bit when I had an interview with him over the week when I kind of asked him in a polite manner about his output. I know what player I am, blah, blah, blah. So there's not a ton of options in-house besides twisting the dials and messing with the lines a little bit. But early in the season, at least, if there's one blemish on this team outside of the special teams, our line 3 is certainly exposed right now.
Did you see what Edmonton did the other night by not skating Connor McDavid so much against the VGK top line? That was pretty interesting strategy in that game.
No doubt. And that's certainly, as far as matchups go, you want to try and have your best players away from the other team's best defensemen. So that's obviously where the home ice advantage has a big factor in things like that. I mean, I would much rather, no disrespect, but I would much rather be skating against Haig and Whitecloud and Braden McNabb versus Theodore Pietrangelo and Alec Martinez. So that's kind of how that end of it works. And when VGK is home against Edmonton, you'll see the other side of that matchup, of course.
I believe that if the fourth line wasn't that solid, that stable, this season, that Kessel, they might move him down to the fourth line because I just don't think he is productive enough on line 3.
I don't know if moving Phil Kessel I'm trying to find Silver Knight stats right now, but I don't know if moving Kessel down to line 4 is the answer because that's a different type of role. Kessel is, I mean, I saw one of the funny chirp that I did see regarding Kessel, and when he was getting his, however heavy that bronze statue was, I guess the thing was like over 100 ounces or something like that. Like, I think it was heavy, I guess, or that big bottle of wine from Foley. Someone joked, "Oh, that's the only time he's going to be in the corner all night." So that's Kessel's game is not a thumping type game,
but I still don't know his role on this team is what I'm getting at.
No, you're fair on that, Tony. Kessel on line one fits in better. Kessel on line one fits in better for Phil Kessel, not for the VGK. So let's be clear about that. If someone in the top six goes down, we don't want that to happen. If one of our top six wingers go down, or one of our top four wingers, I should say, then you would look to see Kessel being inserted into that top six, where he's going to have a better outputs. Kessel, and I want to say this as nicely as possible because I love the dude, interact with him all the time now, it seems like, but he is not the type of player that makes his line maybe better, as in what Jack Eichel does, as in what Mark Stone does, as in what Marchessault does. They just find ways to create opportunities out of nothing. Phil Kessel has a nose for the net. He can finish. He can make some good passes, but you're not going to see Kessel doing what any of our other top six forwards do as far as creating space and things like that go. What Kessel is going to do, he's going to put himself in a scoring position. When he has the opportunity to finish, he's going to do so at a better rate, probably than, I would say, greater than 65 or 70% of our forwards, which includes some of our top six players. So, Kessel has a role on this team, but being alongside Paul Cotter, Mike Amadio, Brett Howden, I don't think is best to realize what Phil Kessel can do for the team.
Hey, what about that hit Pietrangelo on Matthias Janmark the other night? That was pretty interesting. That was a big hit.
Janmark revenge game, folks. Janmark revenge game.
Coming up next, we preview the game against the Canucks tonight, and Chris has a new feature that he wants to unveil right here. Don't go away on Locked On Golden Knights. BetOnline.net is your number one source for football and basketball betting. Find all of the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcast, and in-depth analysis on each and every game. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for your sports wagering information, from live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for each and every sport that is out there. The fastest and easiest way, wow, went up a couple of octaves, fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including NHL, of course, MMA, boxing, golf, all of it. Head to the website today. Use your mobile device to learn more. Bet online, where the game starts. Welcome back from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick on this entree to Thanksgiving week here. Okay, and so we've got the VGK skating in Vancouver tonight. The Canucks are 6-9-3, and they are currently in sixth place. There in the Honda Pacific division. And now, though, but they have had a little bit of luck of late, 5-4-1 over their last 10. And we'll be seeing a lot. I don't know why the NHL does this, like where they'll play the home and homes there, or even VGK sometimes gets the benefit of two games over a week against the same opponent on home ice.
It's rigged. It's rigged.
It really is. The province in Canada pointed out that VGK, I like this stat, has the sixth lowest or fewest rate of high danger shots against in 5-on-5s. That's pretty good.
The defensive system is certainly working. That's actually a really good stat line. Looking at this, so here's the weird spot. We get a bad team, call it what it is. I'm sorry, Vancouver, but we get a bad team who is on a little bit of a roll right now. Same thing with the Blues. Same thing with the Sharks, right? They get a couple wins in a row. Now they got some momentum. They're feeling good. And that's what you got happening here right now. They beat the Buffalo Sabres last Tuesday. So 8 days ago now, or 6 days ago. And then they got 2 days off. They beat the Kings. They got 2 more days off. And now here comes the Vegas Golden Knights. So clearly the schedule makers are against VGK because they got all this time off right now. No, that's Tony, folks. That's not my perspective. But, Vancouver, they're feeling a little bit right now, and they're excited, and they need this game. They are 6-9, as Tony stated. They're sixth in the division. This is a game that Vancouver needs. On the flip side, this is a game that the VGK needs. I say needs because they gave up a couple points last week as far as the games against the Sharks and the Blues. Same deal. Not the greatest of teams, kind of in the bottom of their respective division. This is a game that VGK needs to come out and almost play a little bit desperate in the sense. You really want to get these 2 points tonight. And then, looking ahead at the VGK schedule, it's certainly nothing that's too threatening, if you will. Wednesday is Ottawa. Friday is Seattle, and then Saturday we get, as Tony stated, we get Vancouver again, and that's pretty much going to take the month home. We travel to Columbus on next Monday, and that's going to be a tough East Coast road trip in December. I mean, just you got Pittsburgh, you got the Rangers, you got games in Winnipeg and Chicago, Boston, the Kings and the Ducks back to back on the road. It's fixed again, and then we got Nashville on Saturday, New Year's Eve. So, you need these 2 points, get them in the bank, try and leave no doubt. I mean, the Canucks, they are an NHL team. Last time I checked, it's not going to be an easy game by any means, but get in there, get this game over with as quick as possible.
And Bruce Boudreau could be fired any day, and VGK could put the dagger into, him as the head coach.
Possibly.
Jim Rutherford, I saw those quotes. Remember the preseason quotes where Rutherford, the team president, was blasting Boudreau because he didn't believe that he was tough enough or hard enough on that team in the preseason camp and in preseason games. And he said that he wanted them to come out tough because they had a road swing to start the season. He thought that they lacked that toughness, and that could happen tonight. Thatcher Demko should be in net tonight again.
Dude,
I know
he's a VGK killer.
He surely is. And then the top line, I think, concerns me a little bit. Bo Horvat, I think, always plays pretty well against the VGK. JT Miller also same. So that is of concern for me tonight. And this is a team that comes off of a 4-1 victory over Los Angeles on Saturday night.
A decent Los Angeles team.
So they do have some life. They have a pulse, and I think that there's, they want to get out there and they want to get after the VGK. VGK they're a marked team. Let's face it.
No doubt. And like the NFL, it's a division game. It's a division opponent. And, for a while, in my opinion, the way that bubble playoff series went, I thought Vancouver became actually one of our, key rivals for a little bit because the Kings, and we really haven't had too many meaningful games against the Kings in a while. The Sharks are what they are. So Vancouver, that was our most recent real long, knock them out, drag them out, 7-game series. And what a crazy series that was. But in my opinion, that was the start of the Pete DeBoer dagger, no more than 35, 40 games into his VGK career. I mean, that's where Pete DeBoer became absolutely exposed for not being able to find a way to get big goals in big situations, which became his poor MO, if you will, throughout his entire tenure. But, Vancouver, division opponent, they need this game just as much as the Golden Knights do. And Boudreau knows the situation. He's been around. Shout out to Bruce Boudreau, who was in the movie Slapshot. I've talked about this before. I believe he was skater number 6 or skater number 7 in the credits. So, we got some Hollywood movie stars to beat tonight on top of a hockey team.
Remember the quote there too about Paul
Which
Newman Paul Newman could care less who he was. He didn't even acknowledge him really on the set. I remember that. That was pretty good. And they're not acknowledging him much in Vancouver either. So we do want to launch something new, and you're calling this the lock of the night. So
we're calling this locks of the night. So
locks of the night. It's okay. So I got an issue with this.
We're each picking 2 players. That's why.
No.
Okay.
What if it's a day game? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, fine. Locks of the night/day. We'll give one of those backslash things in there, whatever the kids call it these days, and we'll put here we go. We'll put a hash brown in it too. That's a shout out from the Cobra Kai series right there. Put one of those hash brown things in there too. It'd be great. But yeah, anyway, got it. Cobra Kai, what a good series, folks. If you haven't watched it yet, but so here we go. Locks of the night/day if it's a day game. Locks of the night. This grew up a White Sox fan. Hawk Harrelson, our pick to click. That's kind of where my mindset is right now. So me and Tony, we're each going to take 2 players every VGK game day. Only rule, we cannot back-to-back players. So if we take Eichel tonight, we cannot take him on Wednesday. We've got to go two brand new players each night. That's the only rule we're going to have. A goal is worth 2 points. An assist is worth 1 point, and we're going to keep a tally, see who comes out on top. But we're also going to add an ingredient to this. We're going to have what's called the fam spot. In Picks to Click, it was the crew. We're going to call this the fam spot. So we'll put a tweet out sometime not long after we go offline, just simply asking for suggestions who your locks of the night are, and we'll pick 2 of them randomly. This is all for fun. It doesn't matter who we pick, but it's all for fun, and we'll see if I come out on top when the season ends all the way through the playoffs. We'll see if Tony comes out on top, or we'll see if the fam can beat the experts. I say experts because I don't call me and Tony experts. No disrespect, Tony, but I think somewhere in our, we're considered experts by Locked On, so we fooled them at least. So I don't know. They might be watching the show today. I think we're gonna have an editing meeting after this, so I might get in some trouble right now, but that's okay. But yeah, folks, locks of the night. Me and Tony take 2 players. If we get a goal, it's 2 points. We get an assist, it's 1 point. We'll put out a spot for the fam. I'll tweet that sometime later. Give us some suggestions, and we'll have some fun.
Awesome. No, I'm looking forward to doing this with you. And
we can do ours live, Tony. We can each pick 2 whenever we get to that point. But yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do that starting today.
We're going to do this every absolutely. Game? Let's go.
Okay, so you're going to put me on. So
I'm putting you on the spot, Tony. I'm good at that.
So it's goals and assists to see who has the most points.
Yep. Goals 2, assists is 1.
Okay, so Logan Thompson's playing tonight, and if there's a shootout, I'm just kidding. Okay, so go ahead and you can start this off and give us 2 players, but we can't pick the same players. Is that what you're saying?
It don't matter. As long as whatever 2 players you pick tonight, you cannot pick those players on Wednesday night.
I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. Do not pick that Carly guy who has not scored a goal now in 10 games. Okay. 10 games. Okay. The 200-foot monster.
Okay, so my picks are William Karlsson and Pietrangelo.
Are you serious?
Absolutely, okay. Tony. Let's go.
Do factor.
Let's go.
I'm going to go with Mark Stone, who's got the hot stick of late, and I'm going to go with Jonathan Marchessault.
I like it. We'll put that out there. So Tony's...
And then the fans pick 2 players. And
so like I said, I'll put a tweet out there. So after y'all listen sometime, maybe between 10 and 12. I don't know. Depends on when I get this up. Whenever I get this online, maybe, you're going to have it up probably earlier than me. So somewhere between now and noon Pacific, I'll put a tweet out there and we'll just randomly pick a couple. It don't matter. So you said Marchie
and Stone
and Stoney with an I. Got it.
Yeah. And we got to go back to doing the Megapucks thing too. Whenever there's a full slate, not today, because I'm not prepared for it, but we have to start making our picks because last time it came within a half a goal.
The Grand Salami?
The Grand Salami. I call it Mega Pucks. Okay.
Grand Salami. Let's see. Salami. We got like 6 minutes left, Tony. This is, I don't know what we're going to do with ourselves. We got
it's all good.
We're normally like right up against the bell here. And I'm like, Tony, close the show. God. All right. So here we go.
Come on,
we do
man.
have a Grand Salami
finish
tonight.
Line is. Let's go.
Ooh, we got a big Grand Salami tonight.
Okay.
63.5.
I haven't looked at the entire schedule.
63, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. So 6.3 goals per game is what they need. 6.3. Now, you think about this and the way the scoring is, scoring is certainly, it seems like it's up. Every over-under is 6 or 6.5. There's very few 5.5s where it used to be everything was 5.5. You could get a 5 every now and then. A 6 was kind of strange. And the only time I had seen a 6.5 leading up to these last couple of years was when teams like the Penguins and the Caps played each other. So, sure, you can get some 5-4 games and stuff like that, but 1 2-1 game absolutely burns the Grand Salami. 1 2-1 games put you in such a tough spot. So, we'll see how that goes. If I'm going to take a side, I would go with the under. That's about the only thing that I would do here. As far as what I do like in this game tonight, about the only angle that I like, VGK is only minus 145. That scares me, number one. That really scares me.
Trap game. Every game
minus is a trap. 145. All right, so
every game is a trap game now.
It really feels like that. And I'm going to tell you right now, according to covers.com, I'll bet the public absolutely loves the Golden Knights, which scares the crap out of me. I'm not going to lie. I'll tell you exactly right now how the public feels here. And that's going to make me, oh God. Only 28% of the betting public is favoring Vancouver, yet the VGK is only a minus 145 favorite.
So you're going to stay stuck on that number to play some games, shenanigans.
No, it'll move a little bit. I'm sure it'll probably move in the VGK side. Honestly, I think more action is going to come in, and the books are going to adjust a little bit. I think VGK probably closes at 155 or greater, depending on the book and where you get it from. So, if you like the Vancouver side, if you're looking for value, don't bet it now. Wait till about maybe 6 o'clock our time. That's when some of the money will roll in, some of the public money will roll in, but don't do it at 6:30 because that's when the sharp money comes in.
Yeah, and I know how much the fans enjoy my picks, and especially particularly one who just told me to stop being so positive all of a sudden. Uh, I'm going to go with Vancouver in a 4-3 final tonight.
Did you screenshot that, Tony? Someone told you to stop being so positive?
Yes, I did not screenshot it, but yes,
you should. You need that one for your resume. But so I think the VGK is safe tonight because the Silver Knights are not playing. The last 3 times the Silver Knights have won a game on a VGK game day. Someone actually pointed this out, and VGK had the lead on Saturday. I said miracles can happen. Well, they didn't. Unfortunately, we lost in overtime on Saturday. So no Silver Knights game tonight. Shout out Silver Knights. They've been playing a little bit better. I think they're about 500 in their last 6, but 2 of the 3 losses in their last 6 were 1-goal losses. Now, last night was a tough game for them. They were on the backside of a home and home traveling to Ontario, who they had just beat at the Dollar Loan Center on Saturday. They dropped this one 3-2, but they scored their second goal with like 9 seconds left. So, Brossoit was in that last night. Decent start from what I read and heard. So, things are getting a little better in Henderson. As far as tonight's game, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a higher scoring affair. I'm going to go 5-3 on the VGK side, and I'm going to go on the square side. I'm going to go on the square side, even though I know that's not the side. I will not bet a side tonight, but I will bet the over. It's over 6.5.
Okay, I'm going to just stay positive and say Vancouver so the fans can come after me. I just like some of the comments, and we do take them in jest. However, like if we're explaining something, we're doing it because are there a lot of newer hockey fans in the Valley? I think so.
Of course.
And I think that sometimes
I'm a newer hockey fan because I haven't covered hockey like this ever in my life.
Well, no, but
I know what you're saying,
understand
Tony.
hockey.
I know what you're saying.
But a lot of fans still do not understand hockey. So we do spell it out from time to time. That's the only thing in our defense. And I don't care what you say, as long as you say it on our new YouTube channel, and make sure that you subscribe to Locked On Golden Knights.
No doubt. And, this is fun. Like, me and Tony were up here at 7 in the morning, and, there's a little bit of consideration for what me and Tony do as far as a monthly fee, so to speak, but it's not much. We're out here having fun and just shooting the breeze with y'all. And, if you got something to say, good, bad, or otherwise. And, what I do like, and I actually got called out for this when I mentioned I felt Connor McDavid could possibly go down as, better than Wayne Gretzky. And was it Wausau? I believe Aaron said, I once asked for context behind a comment. So he asked me to give context and I responded, and it was good. Like, that's good. I like it.
Okay,
right,
now we're up against the clock. Okay. For my man, Chris Collick, I'm Tony Cardasco. Thanks for making Locked On Golden Knights your first listen each and every day. Your second listen, it is Game to Game NHL. You can find Chris's mug on there and on the video that he provides.
Chris's mug.
Awesome. That glass is the best. You need a puck in your back, though, when you walk into the game. For my man, Chris Collick, Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. See you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights.